Good morning, everybody. My name is Tech Sergeant Joshua Horner. I've been in the Air Force now for right about 12 years. I've been security forces that whole time. I've also been married for right about that same 12 years. My wife and I right now have three kids, 7, 4, and 1.5 years old. All three are absolutely amazing, beautiful kids, but all three are also absolute pain in the butts. Currently, I'm with the 4th Security Force Squadron out of Seymour Johnson. Prior to that, I was at Kunsan Air Base in Korea, and before that was up at McGuire in New Jersey. I've also been deployed 3 times to a total of 4 different bases. So in some of this presentation, I'll be using some generalities and consistencies that I've seen throughout the 7 different units I've worked with. First, I'll be going over the specific unit where I'm with right now and the culture we have. Then I'll be going to some healthy and unhealthy aspects of security forces and the impact that can have on the organization. Once we're done with that, I'll go into some of the importance of focusing on the healthy aspects and what my role is in this organization. The current organization now, the culture is really supportive, really open, especially for security forces. And our current commander has a huge part of that. Hasn't always been that way though. This unit has had some ups and downs. The commander that we had when I got here was really about himself and making that next promotion. He was a real bad yes man. Didn't really matter what it was. When the group or the wing commanders would come with something, he'd do it, and if it hurt us, it hurt us. The senior NCOs were pretty much just doing whatever they wanted in the unit. There was so much inconsistencies. It was pretty rough for a while. After him, we got a great commander in. Many people called him the best commander they had. He came in talking real tactical, and for PT, he'd always talk about his go muscles and not his show muscles. But he would also could back it up, because we did find out he had a Purple Heart and a couple of confirmed kills from his time over in Afghanistan. And he was a great commander right up until he got fired. Him getting fired was really unfortunate. It was after a holiday party. Our chief left the commander's house and was drunk, and on his drive home he ended up crashing his car and killing a kid. This hurt us for a while. This was a bad look for our unit, for security forces as a whole, and really the Air Force as a whole, because it was in all the state papers as well. After that commander, the next commander was good. Nothing negative, nothing real special either. His worst thing was his education was just on another level, and I think it was a little tough for him to dumb stuff down and communicate to some of the bottom enlisted guys. But our current commander, he's great. He's all about the people, all about the family, the airmen. I've sat in a bunch of staff meetings, and it's always, what can you do for the airmen? How can we make their lives better? What kind of TDYs can we get guys on? And it's really great. So there's several healthy and unhealthy aspects in security forces, and they each have their own impact on security forces. As a whole, it's getting better and a lot more healthy in more places. I think a lot of it has to do with a lot more commanders being involved in stuff and getting their message down to the lowest levels and getting to know the lowest levels. Our current commander knows just about everybody by their first names. Another healthy aspect we have is the old work hard, play hard thing. Our days can be long and can be pretty rough sometimes, but we also can get out and make our off time and not let work bother us anymore and not be stressed out by it. This also kind of flows into another of the healthy aspects, and that being our sticking together all the time. With our schedules being so weird and some random hours, a lot of times people don't have off the same kind of days we do, So we kind of just stick to each other, and we get to know each other a lot better and can get closer. Yes, that's one of the healthy things, but that does start to flow into the unhealthy things. One of them being, if you're not security forces, then we don't really care. You could be the dirtiest, hardest working maintainer, or be working the cushiest services job. If you're not security forces, then that's all that matters, is you're not. Another unhealthy thing that tends to flow is a lot of our senior NCOs tend to forget where they came from. They'll have these great ideas they think are so special and going to be so good, but then it just causes more work, more stress, and more problems for the airman that's standing out there on that gate for 12, 13 hours every day. And then probably the biggest negative on security forces is we have flight and we have staff. The ones most of y'all are used to on the gates, on patrols, out in the flight line, that's all our flight people. Everybody else, our section superintendents, our supply section, all them, that's our staff. And there is no in between. You're either staff or you're flight. I have seen flight level master sergeants lose all credibility from their flight because they stuck up for the staff people in front of the flights. And that's just not accepted. And that definitely hurts us a lot. I say, both of them have huge impacts on the organizations. We all understand that work sucks sometimes. There's nothing that can be done about that. But just because work can be rough doesn't mean life has to be too. So we need to make sure we always keep the healthy aspects of cultures outweighing the unhealthy. And I think the commanders make a big difference on that one. So I say, it's super important to have the healthy aspects. And this isn't just for us in security forces. This goes back to the Air Force in general as a whole. We need to make sure we're healthy, mainly because continuously healthy and happy and good cultures are going to make better workers. But not only for working like at work, but making their personal lives work, making their financials work. If they're being taken care of and accepted at work, then that'll flow over into their personal lives, which will also affect a huge problem in the Air Force, and that being suicides. So that is back into security forces big time. So not only are we responding to these things, over the last several years, we have averaged one active duty suicide member a month. And this goes back as far as I can remember. I'm constantly reading and hearing about it. So if we can stay healthy, then hopefully we can keep those numbers down. And this is goes to show a huge role, huge part of my role in it being bigger than it's ever been before. Currently there's me and one other tech sergeant, and we're responsible for about 20 airmen, and we had no other NCOs. We were also working night shift, so we were the only type of leadership that some of these airmen were seeing. So we have to make sure that we can carry on the culture and make sure we are passing on what the commander needs us to do to take care of our airmen. So this is why my role and our role as frontline leaders is probably one of the most important ones in the squadron, and we need to make sure we remember that so we can carry that on. So this was a little glimpse into the life of a security forces member and some of the healthy and unhealthy benefits or aspects of our squadron. And hopefully some of you guys maybe learned a little something and can maybe help take some of this back to your squadrons.